Okay, it's 8:31. We're late. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the roll call. Let's see, we have a quorum.
If I can just make a quick announcement for the subcommittee. So we are on AI taking our minutes. So just a point of order, procedurally, as you're speaking, please announce your name before you speak. Jim, if I could ask you when the motion is made, kind of restate it and give us the first and the second.
Okay,
Okay, just for procedurally.
Okay.
Speaking.
No,
not yet.
not yet.
Next version.
But we'll speak for you.
Yeah.
Whatever it wants to.
And whatever we say will be recorded. So I'll watch. Okay, Jim Latham, so myself, Jay Nemia, Mike Causey, Rich Hennessy, Lou Lemire. Lou is unable to vote in this meeting until after he's been reapproved at the PPAC meeting later this week. Let's see, so we have a quorum. Public comments, are there any?
I have not received anything. Is there anybody wishing to speak regarding the agenda or any items?
Okay. Next item is number 5, approval of the minutes. I looked at the minutes and it all looked accurate. AI is doing a bang up. It's gonna get a big head. I call for a motion to approve. Anybody who
Move to approve the
move
minutes.
to approve, second? All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 7, items for discussion. First one. 6. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Trying to skip right over this.
We don't have any.
Okay, financial reports. Everything is moving on as anticipated, no unexpected. We've had some little street drain repair, but it all is able to be handled within our budget. So the one I mentioned, there was when Gateway was doing some surveying of sidewalks, they did find a hole in the grass medium. It went down by a street drain. Further investigation shows that part of it was degrading and falling apart. So it was justifiably deemed an emergency. It was very important. People, we don't want to lose any dogs or twist ankles. It was that big. So we had extreme divers out and they patched it all up and took care of it right away. So that worked out. The resolution went well. There were no other major events. The one thing we did do that we completed was the littoral restoration. And that was all budgeted. So any questions on our budget, our financial report? No questions? Item 7, Pond Subcommittee Member Selection Recommendation. Let's see, this is, so we're recommending that Lou is re-accepted into this position.
I've been there for 20 years, so that's okay.
A little questionable there.
Whether he was here the whole time.
That's right.
I'm glad that you're still interested in, willing to participate.
I can't hear everything, but.
Don't look at Bob.
It's on me, that's fine.
Just say aye.
So let's see, do we need a vote on that?
Yes. yes, we
Okay,
need a
so,
motion for both, your, for Lou's acceptance and also yours as well, because those are the two.
Oh, okay.
applications.
and mine also expired and I did put in to to redo this for another 2-year period. So we will need a motion to accept me in lieu. Anybody make a motion? Does anybody want us?
I move to accept Jim.
Jay,
I'm
second,
abstaining here.
second?
A second, Rich Henderson.
Thank you.
And that was for both or just?
For
because you
both.
mentioned Jeff?
For both.
Okay,
Uh,
for
Yeah,
both.
begrudgingly.
Okay, very good.
And just for the record, I did not put in an application to continue, so I will expire at the end of this term. However-
That term.
I don't know. It's like a congressional term. It goes on forever. However, if called upon, I would be happy to serve. So if you need a member, just please reach out and I'll get a hold of the Gateway. And put in an
Thank you.
application.
Thank you.
That's the next item, but Jim, just for clarification, was there a vote?
Okay, so all in favor of aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, unanimous.
Okay.
Okay, number B. Rich Hennessy, as he was just saying, he plans to let his serving here lapse, but he is available if we need him. Now, do we put this out, send this out that there's an opening?
Yes, if this is not accepted and approved, then we would advertise his position, his subcommittee.
Do we have to vote on his not running?
That's, it is a vote. on
No, you can't.
membership.
You can't leave.
Okay,
So if he's not wanting to run again, then this would just be a failed motion and then his membership would expire at the end of the term.
okay,
Or if he's
As long as I don't
going to
expire at
resign
the end of
today,
the term.
effectively.
right, so he's not resigning today, but when his term expires.
Okay. And his term expires on September 10th, 2026. Next month.
Okay,
So the next meeting is in October, so it's effectively resigning now.
Right. This would be your last meeting then. That's correct.
The only thing, excuse me, this is Peggy Hall, the only thing would be, it would allow us to be able to put out the notice that we have an opening. To
okay,
get people in earlier in anticipation of his.
right, okay,
Right.
This is Laura. Since he already indicated that he was not gonna stay on for another 2 years, we already know that's considered his resignation notice, so we can notify that there's an opening.
Thank you.
okay. So there is no need
No
to
action.
vote, no
Right.
action needed,
No
okay,
action needed on this one.
okay. But Rich, I appreciate the time you put in, in helping us out over the
Oh, yeah.
years. It's very much appreciated, and I appreciate the offer that if need be, that you will, continue on.
Yeah.
Gold watch.
Yeah, right.
Yes. But and again, happy to advise on any issues that have to do with specifically, fishing within the ponds and whatnot. So,
I know, Charlie
Parisi?
Parisi.
Yeah.
So he's a fisherman
Mhm,
and,
yeah.
we've spoken in that, and so he'll, I said, any questions,
Yeah.
so, so we'll work it out. Okay, next item is C. pond bank restoration project for 2027. So this is the pond 21. We had a vote last time. It was not worded that we put it off to 2028. So it came back for clarification from us to provide clarification of what we would like to see done to P-PAC. So pond 21, the question came up is funding, because it's most likely going to be over our $300,000 yearly budget. Originally, we were going to
Okay,
be.
hang on. This is Laura. I need to chime in. You do not have a $300,000 yearly budget.
Okay, sorry.
Your budget is whatever you need to do to get your projects done. I just want to clarify that.
Okay.
It historically has been $300,000, but you are not held to that.
Okay, right. Thank you. So we try to maintain a yearly budget on pond bank restorations of 300,000, just so our total pond and conservation area budget falls within that $800,000 range. So originally we were going to do what we did last year, which was the potential to borrow 300 from the following year if need be. Last year we didn't need to borrow it because the pond came in under the 300,000. So we were going to be looking to do the same thing in 2027, is have the potential to borrow up to, whatever amount against the 2028 budget and do this pond in 2027. There was some back and forth. And after talking with a number of people, my feeling is I would like to see us do the pond in 2027. And one of the reasons is that if we fall in under our budget, it allows me in 2028 to proceed as originally planned, that we'll be able to do another pond. Where if I push it off to 2028, we're kind of losing a year, and we don't know what the cost is going to be. Last year was an eye opener when we came in $200,000 less than what we had expected. So I would like to make a motion to recommend to P-PAC that we do pond 21 in 2027. Let's see, with the possibility of borrowing from reserves if need be. Did I get all the verbiage I needed in there?
No,
Yes, are you sure?
no, you're missing some pieces. I need to know how much you want the actual budget line to be. So how much are you expecting to actually spend on the pond, which at this point, in this version of the budget, it's at $650,000. And then
Okay.
if you're planning to use some reserves, I also need to know how much that's going to be.
Okay, so
if I just clarify, so we have 4 options. So what you're suggesting is recommending the option number 1 to go with the 650,000 for next fiscal year.
correct.
Or 3. I heard it more.
Oh, well,
Or 4.
Yes, I guess it would be 3, do the pond in 2027, fund 510,000 and use reserves for the remaining 140.
Okay, or you can pick a different combination of numbers. It doesn't necessarily have to be that exact combination. That's up to you guys. Like how you did this year where you had 600,000 for your budget and you opted to use 300,000 of that from reserves to make the net impact only be 300,000.
So I would say, do fund 300,000, our usual customary amount, and then use reserves to make up the additional 210.
Okay, so you're going to fund 510 and then use 200 10,000 of reserves to have the net
Oh,
be 300.
Right. So it's funding 300 and then use reserves for the remaining 350.
Okay, but again, the budget line needs to be 650 because that's what you're actually gonna spend. So the budget, you're allowing yourself 600, a total of to spend 650,000, but you're gonna offset 350 of that with reserves to have the net impact be $300,000, correct?
Correct. That's correct. Question?
Just to clarify, that's a recommendation, because Ponds does not have that amount of reserves. Feedback
Correct.
to use
Yes.
their reserves.
Yeah.
Correct.
Just to
Clarify.
Okay, do I need to restate?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to proceed with Pond 21 in fiscal year 27, funding $300,000 and using reserves for the remaining 350,000.
You know, and you need to correct that because you're funding $650,000
Funding three,
and offsetting it with 350,000 of reserves.
okay.
Otherwise, you're only gonna have $300,000 to spend on your pond, period.
Okay. So we're
So
doing
you want to
Pond 20
budget 650 and then offset it with $350,000 of reserves with the net impact being 300,000.
Okay, so we're going to.
What she said.
What she said.
Okay, I got that.
We got the patience of a saint.
Is there any discussion about that?
Do we have any, this is my recommendation, discussion with any of the other board members? First, the board members.
I'm okay with that.
Makes sense.
Well, the only question I have is where this 650,000 that you want to budget. Given the history, we've done quite a few ponds now with bank restoration. Do we feel that that's adequate?
We think that's more than adequate,
Okay,
based on prior ponds. The 21 is the largest pond we have, but it's not twice the size
okay,
of the last one, which was under 300.
okay. So if it comes in under that $650,000 budget, whatever remains, does that go back into reserves? Or do we take the reserves and put that into the current year's budget for whatever may come around?
That would go back to
We'll go back to P-PAC reserves.
the P-PAC reserves.
Okay.
Is there any question from outside of the board? Yes, Bob.
I got one question for Laura. If it moves forward as stated, does that in any way impact the assessment on the golf course versus waiting a year?
Kind of hard. I heard something about impact golf course. You're kind of hard to hear. Bob, use your outside voice. I know you got one.
She said, use your outside voice. So she couldn't hear you that well.
Use your golf course voice.
My question, Laura, is if this is accepted as proposed, does that have any kind of impact on the 27 golf course assessment?
Yeah, anything that you do to that line directly impacts the golf course assessment.
Okay.
That takes it down a lot. It takes it if I'm in the midst of making some other changes, but it gets it down to where I'm at right now is about a 4% increase or about $10,000. But I have some other numbers I have to finagle into there yet. So that takes it from like almost $80,000 down to like 10. So it'll change a little bit after that, but yes, it has a significant impact on the golf course as well as residential and multifamily.
But if it waited a year, then it would have no impact. Is that right?
Well, the net would still be about the same because you're netting 300,000. So if you do the same thing again next year, I wouldn't say it has no impact. The only way it would have no impact is if you did $0 for reserves and $0 Like, if you didn't set anything aside and
I'm
you
looking
didn't
for a
do a
simple yes
pond?
or no. The budget that I looked at said, if we did it in 27 as proposed, that impacted the golf course year over year about $65,000. And you had previously told me that if we waited till 27 and accumulated the money, that would not happen. That was my question.
It depends on what you do. If you put it
Oh.
in, I mean, there's a lot of variables. I'm not going to say that it's not, it will be a less impact because the way the budget was presented is that there would be a $650,000 impact for the ponds. And now we're talking about having a $300,000 impact. So yes, it's definitely going to affect the golf course as well as everyone else.
Hey, Laura, but this is Doug. What you just said too was it's $300,000 the way Jim just recommended it in, from a non-ad valorem assessment. It's $300,000. And if
Yep.
we do it in 28, it's $300,000 in 27 because we're putting that money away to fund the following year. So in each case, the non-ad valorem assessment is 300,000, which shouldn't be that much difference between the two options from the golf course. Is that true?
Yeah, the net is the same because the net impact is $300,000. The biggest impact will be to the reserves because you're going to be taking potentially $350,000 out of your reserves to fund the project this year. And then you would have to put it back next year.
All right, this is Bob again. One, does the change as proposed, is that reflected in the high water mark?
The high water mark is set. You're talking the final budget. Yes, I already said it reduces the golf course.
Talking about the assessment to the golf course in what we propose. In the high
Yes,
water
I already said it does. It takes it down quite a
mark.
bit.
$65,000, right?
Yes, it's less than that. I already said that it has a big impact on it.
Okay, so if we didn't do it, that wouldn't go up 65,000
If you didn't do what?
on 21.
Again, it depends on what they decide to do, how much they set aside for reserves. So right now, the net impact being assessed, so pond minus reserves is $300,000. So if
My
you
focus
do
is
it the way
only
it is
on the
now, do
impact
the
on golf.
pond, and can I finish? If they do the 650,000 for the pond, offset it with reserves of 350, which is a net of 300, or if they don't do the pond in fiscal 27 and set $300,000 into the reserves to do it in 28, the impact is the same to the golf course.
Either way.
So no matter what we do, golf is going up $65,000.
No,
You're-
no, that's
No,
not what I
it's-
said.
On the high water mark.
She said 10,000. She
Going
said
first.
10,000.
I looked at the budget.
That's a high.
No, it's at
watermark.
third base.
It's-
The high
it's-
watermark
it's-
is like 78,000. So it just
Okay.
depends what you guys do now for the final budget. If
Right,
you
it
do
won't
the
be
650 and offset it with 350, the net impact is 300. If you don't do anything with the pond and only put 300 in reserves, the net impact is still $300,000. So the impact of waiting a year or doing it this year, the way that they discussed, by actually funding it and then offsetting the extra with reserves, the impact is the same to the golf course. The thing that changes will be next year when you decide if you're going to pay the money back or if PPAC is just going to be like, hey, no problem, keep it. That'll be a discussion that we'll have to have. But if they do the pond, let's just put it this way. So on the high water mark, the pond assessment to do it was $650,000. What they're discussing now is a net impact of $300,000. So you can see that's going to have a huge impact on the golf course by reducing it. It just depends on how they want to get to that number. That's what I need to know. And right now the motion is to put $650,000 on the budget line to actually do the pond and borrow $350,000 from reserves. So net impact 300,000. That's the motion on the table.
Any other questions, comments?
So Laura, this is Peggy. Can you just clarify again? You said to put the budget at 650, but that's not the non-ad valorem impact.
Not the assessment.
No, because it's offset by reserves of 350. So you take
That's why they
650
put
minus
the-
350, the net impact is 300.
Okay, thank
And
you.
not the full impact.
It's the same as what you guys did for this year for fiscal 26, where you budgeted 600 and then took 300 from reserve. So the net impact was 300.
Okay,
And then we didn't need it, so it wasn't.
We didn't actually move it out of the reserves, correct?
Yeah, Laura, this is Bob again. I understand exactly what you just said. So I'm with you all the way. So is it reasonable to assume, high water mark notwithstanding, that the community, including golf course, assessment year over year will be the same from last year to this year?
No, because you guys made
Didn't
some other
change the
changes.
Beg your pardon?
You made some other changes. So no, it won't be the same.
No.
It'll,
No, there's no other changes.
there were changes outside of what you guys did. So no, it's not gonna be exactly the same. It'll be close.
Okay, very close, less than 2%.
I don't have all of that in front of me right now.
it'll be less, this is basic, it'll be less than the 3.2 for the single family. 3.2%.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Okay. There's no other
So
question?
we still have the motion on the table.
Yeah.
This is Mike Causey. I second that motion.
You know what, we need it first. I'm sorry.
I thought he made the
Okay,
motion.
I made the motion.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nobody opposed.
Okay, so just so that I understand, it is you're budgeting the 650 and using 350 in reserves to offset it for a net impact of 300,000.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna hang out in the background. If you guys need me for something, just say my name and then I'll hop in.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, item D, conservation area lighting. So I was made aware of some comments about some lighting. This is the path around the conservation area behind the Brokey Center. There's some lights that up lights. One of which is in the conservation area on the right side, which I don't know why it's there, but that's kind of the one that raised it. Most of them are all broken. We have to decide, do we want to get these fixed? Do we want to disconnect it? It would be a safety issue. We just can't ignore it. There's voltage running out there around the wet areas.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
This was all done back when WCI did it. It made it look pretty behind the sales center. You know, it looks pretty in the wintertime when it gets dark early, if, you know, but we didn't do anything to see how much it would cost to bring it up to current to fix what's there. Do we even want to? Do we just hire an electrician to go into the meter box and disconnect the wire? You know, we can. Well, yeah, but I'd rather have the wire taken off so no mistakes happen and we have a live wire sitting out there. You know, my feeling is I don't think it adds enough attraction. It's a very limited area back there. If it wrapped around the whole area providing uplighting, then it becomes a question. It's in the conservation area. Should it even be there?
And that's, if I could just chime in real quick,
Okay.
Jens, Paul. Yes, from the district's perspective, we would like to remove or not have any lights on the conservation side. If anything needs to be on the pond side to eliminate any issues with our permitting with the South Florida Water Management District,
Okay.
any restrictions that we may have. So that would be our recommendation from the district's perspective.
Okay, and I would say I agree that there's too much gray as far as what we can or cannot do, and we don't want to be in violation of our things. So, we don't have a budget item for it, but, do I need to get, a motion and all that to? It's
No, I mean,
probably gonna be a very low budget just to go out and,
if it's the directive of the subcommittee to proceed with having lights, with the change of moving it to the pond side, that's something we could try. Our team in Public Works, we could probably go seek some quotes to see what that cost would be and then bring it back to the subcommittee for further consideration.
My suggestion would be to disconnect it and see if we get any comments.
So,
I mean, my guess is nobody's even gonna notice it.
only gonna know it at night.
Can we, this is Rich Hennessy, can we clarify where we're talking about? Because I'm a little confused. This is not.
okay,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
The red dot.
Okay, so it's along that cart path or along the
Yes,
boardwalk?
It's not on the boardwalk, it's on the conservation side of the path.
It's in there.
The red dots,
Most of them, there's big boulders.
Yeah.
That they light behind the boulders.
Okay, so this is once you go over the bridge and into that cart path area. Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
We don't know which way the wires run.
This one lights the area where the mirror escape guys park their things and take their naps. Yeah. That's also where the gate is.
Okay.
The one,
I think in the daytime, nobody's gonna notice.
the one by the bridge is now in the water. The third one going from the right is a broken light that goes up on one of the large rocks. And the last one is just, facing up into the,
I mean, I don't traverse that area, so I have no idea what the lighting even provides, other than maybe some aesthetics.
It does. It looks nice at night. When it was
Yes,
working.
when it was
did look
working.
Nice if you were riding by there.
Yeah.
And it provided some light in the dark, people coming home from concerts and things like that on their carts.
Yeah.
But is it necessary?
for that
So
one strip.
that path eventually is the one that leads out to the main Pelican Preserve Boulevard.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, by the condos.
No,
Well,
that's
short
all
of
the
the
way to the other
condos.
side,
Yeah, okay,
but that's
Okay.
the path,
That's
same
the path.
path.
okay.
So two questions, Jane, Amy. From your question mark, I assume we don't know where the feed is.
Correct.
To these.
We don't know
Either
which way the wires run.
Right. And then the light housings are still there, correct? And at
Yes.
least a couple of them, I think.
Yes, and I'd say, once it's all disconnected in the dry season, it's something that maybe we could just come and, knock it over because,
Remove it.
just so it's not a trip hazard or,
Right.
um,
Well, it also doesn't look good. You can see those
Well,
broken houses.
yeah,
you know.
yeah, so it doesn't look good.
Rich Hennessy again. So if I understand this drawing, the dotted lines are where you're proposing moving the lights to on
No,
the pond
no.
side?
no, the dotted lines are, we're either side, we don't know which way the wire runs.
Okay.
Bottom yellow dot is where the breaker is.
Okay,
That also feeds the fountain right there, which is
Okay.
that bottom one. So we don't know, if I go to down the left, I have two orange dots, yellow dots. I was like, well, if we were gonna do it, then I would say, well, put in some other ones to increase it, but then why stop there? It's such a small section, but since it's in the conservation area, we shouldn't be there anyway.
Right.
And not that South Florida will be here at night, but if they happen to see a light on when they're here for a boardwalk issue, they may say, you can't do that.
so when you say you want to move them to the pond side, what
That would be
exactly
the
are you
pond side
saying?
of it.
Oh, just on the other side of the path? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Which doesn't make sense because now it's going across if people are crossing,
Right.
because you have to have it low to face it. So
Right.
that's not really, practical. Yeah.
Right.
So,
86.
I think we should just disconnect them, especially in light of Gateway's recommendation that it is not something that would be permitted by South Florida Water Management District.
This is Mike Causey. I make a motion that we disconnect the wiring.
I second that. Anybody, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just don't get a shot
Um,
at.
And who
so,
was it that was wondering about getting comments? Can you tell us what your email is? And we'll just have them sent directly to you.
I'll follow up with an email
Okay,
just to,
very good.
so I,
Somebody should cut those.
Yes.
yeah, once we get to the dry season when they're accessible.
And actually remove them so that you don't have people telling you, oh, the lights are out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Item E, ratification of emergency drain inlet repairs along Vincenza Drive. We mentioned this earlier. The work has already been done. I need to,
Yes, we just need a motion.
I make a motion to repair the drain inlet. Do I have a second?
Mike Cosy, a second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
How much did that cost?
$1,700.
$1,700.
Yes.
Hey,
Well, it was along the road and you see that it was already
It was,
collapsing.
there was a hole about this big. It looked like a gopher hole. Well, it was because a lot of people are walking dogs and
Yeah.
this is a very small, narrow grass area.
Right. Yes, it was a safety hazard.
And the wheel gets caught from the,
Yeah.
we'll stroll it.
Okay, item F, ratification of emergency lake bank repair and downspout drainage to 10550 Casella Way. Okay, behind Casella Way, the last house on the right side, there was quite a large set of bank erosions. That one building was not included in our downspout drain initiative. It's the only building there that backs up onto a pond. So it falls within the parameters that we use to provide this. So to prevent future runoffs and to stop the cause of this, and it was creeping up the bank into the grass area, so it became a problematic area. We did do this under the downspout initiative budget. So, but it wasn't something that had been planned or discussed earlier. So I make a motion to accept completing that downspout drain work at 10550 Casella Way. And first, any questions on it?
Is that the last unit?
That's the last unit on the right side. So he had to take all the downspouts on both sides, route them in, put the a set of drain boxes, then a drain box out at the LME and ran it out into the pond. So, and they all know it's the same as the rest of them. The pond group is responsible from the last drain box in the LME and the pipes going out into the pond. The homeowner's HOA is responsible for any work around up to that point. Before that. Do I have a second?
They need me a second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposed. So moved. That's FG. Request for installation of a staff gauge at Pond 38. Let's see, where do we? So Pond 38, this is where we have the
An adjustable
an
weir
adjustable weir
going to the flowway.
going to the flowway. This was recently added, relatively recently. There has never been a gauge there. And I did get a request to have, not by Gateway, if we could have a gauge put in there to track the level of the water. There's a concern they've had flooding in that area, which is why that was put in. But we feel that it might help facilitate requests to lower the weir at appropriate times. Do we have any questions on this?
This is Peggy. So it says on there that they were paid for through the pond's budget. And yet we at PPAC rejected this request for all 5 of the staff gauges because they were not useful in our estimation.
The difference is that on all of our adjustable weirs on the flowway, there are already staff gauges.
That's not my point is we have already paid for these even though PPAC rejected the request. Is that accurate?
Let me confirm with Laura, are you still on?
Or
I think she might.
Because
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yes.
that's concerning.
So the question is the staff gauges and, because we had ordered, there was an issue where when the project was initially approved by this pond subcommittee, we had placed the order for the staff gauges, which is the hardware.
Correct.
And then it was subsequently, the item was brought back and then it was decided to cancel or to, not to proceed with the project. But since the hardware was already purchased, those costs were already incurred. Correct me if I'm wrong, Laura.
No, you're right.
So
That's
the proposal before you today is just the cost of the installation because staff gauges was already been purchased.
Yeah, and this is Peggy again. Why were they ordered before it passed through the chains of command?
Because the subcommittee had approved it at that time.
And is that standard practice?
Yeah.
I can't answer that. I mean, that was the first time I've encountered this.
I would ask that you revisit any policies that would have you approving budgetary impacts that are not passed through the chain.
Right.
I mean, it's a moot point at this point. We already paid for it. We just have to pay for installation, but that's concerning.
Right.
how much will it cost?
And we have 4 more sitting there.
So on there.
3750.
That's nuts.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, that'll be an issue. for-
Check outside,
For
Mark.
for PPAC to take up with the board, no problem. It is wondering how
How'd that happen?
that happens before it was technically approved, but. Okay, any other discussion on, yes,
That's a question.
Bob?
A message for Mike. I assume that
This is Bob Gephardt.
Bob Gephardt, yeah. What will the gauge give you that you don't have by looking?
I think they just basically, they get historical information and helps them gauge where the pond is. Yeah, you can look at it and tell the same thing, but
Doug would do it by walking out. When it's full, we lower the weir.
Mike would too.
I mean, that's what.
He would.
Can I chime in here? I think there's a little misunderstanding about this agenda item. Basically, if you go back up to the cover page, Paul. Stop. Read the financial impact. It will cost you nothing to have them installed. Because the ponds committee already paid for the gauges. The district is paying for the installation. It's basically just the approval of the ponds committee to actually install this in pond 38. There's no additional cost to the ponds budget to have this done.
You have the extra gauge?
This is.
Yes,
Yeah,
they ordered
it's
them.
there.
That was the problem. They ordered them before it was fully approved, but,
They're there.
But there were 5 we suggested, right?
right, so
Then
they'll
it's
have,
6.
there's still 4 left in a garage someplace.
Not this Bob again. I'm not opposed to putting it in. I really don't care. But I just don't understand the value of it. I mean, when the pond's full, we lower the weir.
Matt,
When the pond's not, why do you care whether it's
let
2 feet,
Matt,
3 feet or 4 feet?
let Matt answer this question. What good is it to you?
Well, the concern was that in prior, there's been flooding down in that area.
That's why you put the weir in.
Correct, yes. I do monitor staff gauges on probably 2-3 times a month, while I'm going around making my rounds. And that was just another, stop I can do and give residents more peace of mind.
Matt, what action do you take as a result of looking at the gauge?
Well, I put it into my chart that I have.
Other than the chart, what action, what does it cause you to do?
Well, I mean, it also, you know, if the gauge is reading higher than control, like if it's reading a foot higher control, that can tell you, oh, there's a blockage somewhere. And, you know, they'll cause us more investigation to figure out what the issue is.
This Rich Hennessy, is this a static gauge that requires you to actually look at it, or is this sending information?
It's a
Static
yeah.
gauge.
With this, we go to Bob's question.
Yes.
Matt, with this, you were able to gather more accurate information, I'll call accurate versus someone with a tape measure.
Yes.
Out there.
Yes.
To go to
This isn't just installed willy-nilly. There's, you know, there's surveying. Yeah.
to justify to Florida, to be able to lower, what I mean is it more
Correct.
accurate data to justify the lowering of the weir
Correct.
versus math or like where I go into the thing and measure.
Right, eyeballing it, right.
But
That's
it's
all I can
higher,
do
it's
is
higher
eyeball.
than control. That's obvious.
Right.
You know, you don't need a gauge to tell you that.
Well, I mean, if it's a couple inches above control, you're gonna get that with the rainfall event, but I'm talking significant, you know.
Yeah.
But we're getting no value with that thing today, we've already paid for, so.
We might as well.
But we already paid it for it, so.
I'm okay with that all the way. I just don't understand globally. What is it gonna do for you? I don't see, if you're high, you're high. You're changing. If you're low, you're low.
But I understand if the rest of them are all at a certain level and this one's higher, that's an aberration. There's, why is this one not draining at the same rate as other ones? Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to proceed with installing the staff gauge at pond 38. Do I have to word this a certain way?
Cost of Pelican Preserve.
At no cost to Pelican Preserve. Do I have a second?
Mike Causey
Mike
seconds
Causey.
it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All approved. Item H, downspout drain initiative. Properties along 10541 through 10531 Bellagio. Had a call the other week regarding some drain issues. Our GIS shows that one house has a downspout drain initiative that's not there. And the other 5 houses do not have anything. So the picture, the one on the right shows that's already there. It's not. What they did is the blue lines, they installed, well, 4 of them. The yard, the LME drain, and the pipes out to the pond. So the rest of Bellagio is all done on the downspout drain initiatives. The downspouts are all hooked up to the drain boxes out to the ponds. This is the only area on this small pond. And for whatever reason, you know, it was very early in the process and it was only done from the LME out. Looking to include this on next year's downspout drain initiative to bring it up to the standards with the rest of the neighborhood and community. Again, it only goes up. You see the last house is the extent of it where it's on that small pond. This is when we leave here out to Pelican Reserve Boulevard, you make a right, that one little pond right there on the right before you reach Bellagio. That's that.
Is the additional work you'd be
The green is the additional work we will be doing. You know, so, you know, they're looking at it. There is definitely some drain issues, and I think this would definitely be a benefit and falls within what we're doing on the downspout drain initiative. So, any questions?
The green is the proposed work.
The green is the proposed. The blue was done back 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
So the blue was never connected to the downspout.
Correct. There's a
It's just-
drain box on the LME, which is our responsibility, our technical responsibility. So, you know, to try to route whatever yard drain into the drain
Box.
out into the pond, that's never as effective as
So there's no French drain or piping or anything there. It's just,
Correct.
okay,
Whatever the builder had done, there may be some,
right. They put in a box,
you know,
make sure it didn't flood and then
there's
it
no
flooded.
boxes. There's some of them,
Okay.
there's pipes on the drains and it just out
Just
in the
goes into the
yard
ground,
and, you know, creates another.
Okay. Pretty much like Prado and where you had to do all our downspouts as well.
Yes, yes. You know, so
Well, should
again,
be
anything
done.
on a pond, you know, we're trying to protect the pond bank, which is the purpose of it.
Question, Jay Nemia. So it's the water now from the downspout is going where?
Down into a black pipe and someplace in the yard. And then
So
it's,
it's
and then there's a hole
So there
where
never
it's bubbling
was
up.
any
It was,
piping out to the pond.
no. Well, yes, to the pond, yes, from the blue. So we have the 12-inch square
Mhm.
drain box there
Right.
and the pipe out into the pond. Nothing
Nothing goes
feeding
into
into it, just surface water feeds into it.
Brilliant.
You know. Question?
Well, hadn't the green thing's been there all the time. That's obviously what was needed.
This was done at the first stage of the downspout initiative when we were still developing best practice. The,
I was gonna say it was actually done 10 years ago, before we had the drain spout initiative. This pond had bank erosion. And actually the people that did the work was Copeland. And it was just to restore the bank. And when they restored the bank, they put the boxes on the LME into the pond to protect the bank. Okay, but this was done before in fact, Bob, you might remember, the guy who had the contract, but we could not find the Copeland contract. Because the guy that had the contract is the guy that had the heart attack, do you remember? And they subcontracted to Copeland, and that's how Copeland did these. These are the first thing Copeland did. But it was a year before we started the downspout initiative. The LME boxes are the ones that protect the bank. The one that goes back into the home does not protect the bank because the LME boxes, the water flows into those boxes. But it does back up into the yards. and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So technically, though, you mentioned the HOAs are responsible from those elements back, right?
yes,
So
the HOAs would have anything green lines and the red dots, just like every place in the community. While trying to work on something because I know we've had, you know, it's been discussed with the HOA presidents. We always have turnover and there's new people moving in and, you know, I didn't know that. And so I'm trying to work out some document to share at, let's say, the president's council meeting. So as people come in, they have something to reference that, you know.
Right.
But again, I have to be very careful because I'm putting something on paper.
Yeah, well, Doug put some stuff out last year.
Yeah, I think we did. We presented it at the president's.
Right.
This does answer. There's the, Jay, is these 5 homes, if we had not done the downspout initiative, the HOA would have been responsible for these lines. But since we did the downspout initiative and did all these other homes, Jim feels that these 5 homes should be
Yeah.
done to match the standard that everyone else got as opposed to them paying for the HOA paying for these 5 homes. Is that clear?
That's fair.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Rich Hennessy, would this then complete the downspout initiative?
Well, you know, so
The contract.
So there's always the potential to upgrade some, there's some areas that we didn't do because the builder had done their version of a downspout drain system, which is a
Adequate.
fraction of what we do. If those areas reach a point where the pond banks are being impacted, at that point, I would come back recommending that we address certain areas to bring it up to a common standard. But, you know, that just like at the end of Casella, you know, we may find onesie twosies here or there. This one showed that the one house was done, but it wasn't.
Okay.
So, you know, I used the map to see what was done and what wasn't and try to see, well, why do we do it here but not there? But so there is a potential that we will continue to find small areas.
Is Ravenna's completed?
Ravenna's is completed. But that's a whole nother issue
Yeah,
with that
so-
bank.
They won't cut the grass.
That was my.
Where are we with, if I remember correctly, we had a fairly substantial initial budget that was subsidized by Lennar, if my memory serves me correctly, or maybe Lennar and WCI.
WC.
Okay, to bring the houses on, in the Prado and, neighborhood up to speed, because they didn't do any downspout. They just ran the downspout into the ground and that was that. Have we exhausted that budget? And if so, how do we budget for the additional?
This is Bob, if I can give you a little bit of introduction. We changed the pond standards or the permit criteria manual before the homes on Cypress Grove got built. Some of them had been permitted. The vast majority were under the permit criteria manual. And the cost of this downspout was borne by the fact of the builder, as opposed to the early construction in Pelican Reserve. So we moved that burden. But the other thing is we also got aeration in all the ponds that did not occur in Old Pelican. So we did it by way of what you're saying,
Mhm.
by changes to the permit criteria. Now that covers everything in the gateway.
Okay, but my only question is, where are we with regards to the budget?
It was
And any addition-
That was, so moving forward, we budget $25,000 a year for
the one-offs.
downspout initiative, for these one-offs. So we
Okay.
do have a $25,000 amount that we follow through. That
And do
So
we
this-
feel that
this
that's
gets-
adequate?
it has been.
Okay.
We did 2 this year and, and it fell just under our budget. And next year with these 5, we'll fall under our budget. So
I'm just
it
wondering.
seems
how
to
it
be,
affects-
it's working.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Any other questions on the Bellagio addition? No, so I'd like to make a motion for next year on the downspout drain initiative, it will fall underneath the $25,000 that we budgeted to install the downspout drains to the existing drain boxes. Yes, Paul.
Yes, just for clarification, so the estimate is $25,775.
Okay,
And the budget is $25,000.
okay. So we will be a couple $100 over, which is inconsequential.
Next year.
Next year. So again, we have a bid for $25,775 from Copeland Southern Enterprises, who's been doing all of they've been averaging about 5,000 a house. So we did check because it did seem more, but so in looking back, it does generally fall in line. So that's my proposal, is to proceed with this for next year. Do I have a second?
JD, I'll second.
All for? Aye, aye, all opposed? Item I, authorization for boardwalk timber and composite railing repairs. Harold's not here. Paul, any
Yes.
background?
So back in June, in our last meeting, I brought the issue about the handrails and along the boardwalk regarding that they're starting to show where they're uneven. We've done a lot of minor repairs to the point where it's kind of become an unsafe issue. The railings coming apart, there's the screws, we screwed them down as many times as possible, but we're at the point where they need to be replaced. From that meeting, we did get the direction to try to seek some quotes, and we did reach out to multiple vendors, only received two. The two quotes that we received was from Superior Builders, that was for $26,618. And that was to replace, if I could go back, about 640 feet, linear feet of damage or composite handrails, and another 200 linear feet of 6x6 toe boards. And then the second quote we received was from Heinz Brothers for $19,980, but that was just for time. Their plan was to reuse the composite boards, which we would not recommend. So based upon those two quotes, we did have a discussion internally. The Public Works Department feels that we could do it for far less cost, approximately $18,000 just for materials only. We would dedicate and use our internal forces to make those repairs. It would take some time because we would have to schedule it, and we would probably do it incrementally versus trying to do it all in one shot. So that's the option that we're trying to present to the subcommittee. If you would like to get this done, as soon as possible, contractor would probably be the best way at $26,000. Or is this something that we're allowed to work, internally and incrementally? The Public Works Department could probably handle this job.
Now, for clarification, this is for we have 3 wooden bridges and the boardwalk through the conservation area. I think, again, as long as we're using the best practice, longer screws, because obviously there was enough pressure that these boards hold the existing screws out of the wood. It's all pressure treated wood, so it should have been installed with better hardware. But that's water under the bridge.
Literally.
So to speak.
So, and that's been part of the issue. So that's where we're trying to, we've made as many repairs as possible, but we're at the point where replacement of those handrails and those kickboards are required at this point.
And this is all in the conservation area?
And
Yes.
the bridges.
Which bridges?
Well, it's parts of all 3. If you go over them, some of the ends where the screws are holding them down, the boards have warped and pulled the screws out. So there becomes a safety issue. People are rubbing and bumping into something that's.
Is this behind Sienna? This won't impact Sienna, right?
No, because you don't have a bridge. Well, the one bridge,
Yeah,
by the butterfly garden, 4 bridges, you're right. So it's only where needed. If there's a bridge that doesn't have warped boards, there's nothing to fix, but it's been widespread enough that, and we've had some complaints in the conservation area boardwalk, on unsafe conditions that they've gone out and fixed.
Obviously a trip hazard.
Well, yes, especially if it's down. Peggy, yes?
Just a clarification, Paul, can you speak to when you say if your time frame would be 2 months, is it 6 months, is it whenever?
That's a very good question. It would be several months. I would be honest with you, because we do have multiple projects going on. But as soon as we start, I'm sure we would get this process going much sooner, but it would be several months.
Would you anticipate it before December, January?
I could probably say by the end of the calendar year, yes. Yes.
You may want to add the caveat unless we get a, hurricane.
There's a couple caveats. One, hurricane. Second, this is our best estimate. I think
Right.
we would definitely probably beat the $18,000 in cost, but it's subject to, whatever the needs are that, we feel fit to as far as replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Would the maintenance team also, once this is completed, maintain if necessary?
Yes, the maintenance team does maintain all of the bridges, so this would be something that would be ongoing. But we would correct many of the issues of the past. Maybe if I could restate that some of the mistakes have been done in the past.
Right.
Yeah. Again, touching on that, they do maintenance. If there's any problems, we're not going to an outside contractor for bids and that. Gateway does send over somebody if there's a trip hazard, an identified safety hazard that gets addressed right away.
I was just going to say that a lot of this stuff within the boardwalk area was from Irma way back then, when trees fell on it. And they tried to do repairs by just putting longer screws in and stuff like that, like you were saying, Paul, which then
Light bulbs.
the bigger posts, the middle of them get rotted out, right? Because they're not composite.
Right.
So when you're talking about time frame, you got to remember a lot of this damage was done from Irma. That was a little while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17.
So that's the staff recommendation. You have the three options. So we're looking for some guidance from the subcommittee.
Okay, well, I make a recommendation to go with the staff recommendation, with a not to exceed amount of $18,000, with trying to get the work done, by the end of the year, trying to get the work done, understood. Do I have a second?
Okay, second.
All in favor? Aye? Aye. Opposed? Passed. Item J, review and approve of revised pond standards. Well, this has been bouncing around for a little while. But as we said, this is a work in progress. The current iteration, I think is a well-designed document. It does lay out some good standards, and the reason for it. Any discussion from the board members? No discussion. Any discussion from anybody?
Yeah, this is Bob. I went over it at length with Harold. The reason it came back to us is, first of all, this is a consolidation of the Pelican Reserve pond standards, which we've had for years, with the district standards, which were at variance. And now we made it into one document. The reason it came back for a couple of revisions was when it went to the PPAC board, Marty Mantenfeld pointed out there were some omissions and some needed clarifications. All of that has now been done. And as far as I know, within the Pelican community, we're happy. We work with Paul. I think we're okay with the gateway side. And the next step after this is approved, we'll take it to the board for the community. The underlying objective of all this is to bring gateway up to the level of where we have been, particularly with respect to littorals. So it's a minimal impact for us, major impact for them.
Because in littorals is one of the issues that I had with it, because there was a section in it with a form for homeowners to fill out to remove littorals behind their house.
And that's the new
that there's a form, you notarize it, and I just wanted to make sure that Pelican people, first, they didn't go and pay for a notary to do this, and then find out that this doesn't impact them. But they have modified it, and I'm satisfied that there should be no confusion. Pelican people.
Pelican has always allowed a portion of a homeowner's property to have the littorals removed for fishing.
Yes.
That's very different than what Gateway typically had. Now we're all in line.
Yes.
We will be, if approved.
Okay. Peggy?
This is Peggy. I just want to pass on PPAC's appreciation for the level of work and detail you guys have put into this. It was a big lift. And Paul, you know that.
Yes.
I very much appreciate all you guys are here. And hopefully we're on a good track.
Harold did a good job taking it on.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's Rich Hennessy. Bob, you said Gateway is now in line with
If this is approved by
Pelican.
the board,
Okay.
then Gateway will be conforming to the new document.
And will they be conforming to what we have set forth as
Yes.
far as removal for fishing?
Yes.
Okay. And they're aware of what that policy is.
Can't go that far
It's in the document.
in the document.
Okay.
And it does address fishing, which was another point of contention for one or two people.
Yeah, there were residents who wanted them all taken out.
Yeah.
No.
So, okay, so I'd like to make, let's see, to accept the revised pond standards. I'll make a motion to accept those.
Well, is there a revision date on this or how would you know earlier attempts with the final doc?
But clarify a little bit, Bob, on that, because this is our third iteration.
I know,
This
is
is,
it identified as that or dated?
yes,
Except
it's
the
a,
pond standard dated a certain date.
yes, it will be, once it's finally approved by the Board of Supervisors, will be official date on the pump.
Because there are a number of versions floating in the.
Yes. Yes, well, what's attached to this agenda is the latest and greatest, so.
Okay,
So
so,
if I could just interrupt you, Jim, real quick. So there was one last comment about full erosion inspections of all ponds conducted annually.
yes.
Is that something that we'd like to discuss and maybe we
Okay.
can address as
Yeah,
a
that,
subcommittee?
that is the one change to review to walk all the ponds yearly. That's a massive job. I had done it back during COVID, which is when the bank erosion thing, we got started. I'm planning to do it this winter with another volunteer, but I don't know if I would set it for, perhaps every 4 or 5 years. Nothing's going to change every year. Not enough to identify it. So, whether it's generic or periodic, so we're not setting a set thing, but me just picking round numbers, I'd say by every 5 years, but
It was changed from this from routinely
okay,
to annually, and that was Chelsea's request. Not pertaining to Pelican per se,
right.
but more focused over there. She wanted to make sure that they're looking every year.
If I could just add to that as well. So we rely on our lake maintenance contractors, our residents, Matt, myself, as we walk through, we probably cover a lot of ground annually. So if I could just assure that, we are kind of doing it like de facto with all the various contractors, staff, residents that are, always inform us if there's an issue with erosion. So if that could satisfy the
Okay.
requirement, I think that would be suitable, but I mean,
That's a good point, because we do have a lot of volunteer folks who walk the ponds.
Right.
And part of that is identifying areas. So, okay,
Yeah, not necessarily a specific, let's go look for a river,
right,
just in general.
right. In general, the ponds are reviewed on a steady basis. So, okay.
that's correct.
That I withdraw my thing, because, in discussion that we are covering that then. Right, because it's not specifically. So,
Right.
okay, so I'd like to make a motion to accept the current revision of the pond standards. Do I have a second?
Ghazi, I second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Very good. This is Paul. So this will be going to PPAC for further review and approval before it goes to the Board of Supervisors.
I think it's on the agenda.
Okay, very good. Yeah.
Okay, item K, Pond Subcommittee Roles and Responsibilities. This is a document that we were asked to provide more of a guideline, I guess, for somebody who was interested in volunteering. They have a better understanding of what our responsibility is. The landscape committee did it. I took their template and threw it against the wall, and couple people parsed it down and made it common, so it was included in the meeting minutes. I think it's a good idea to have, while it doesn't go into in depth all of the items that we cover, street drains and pond interconnects. There's a whole lot that our group is responsible for.
Is that detailed in there?
To a degree. We don't want to scare anybody off.
I wish I'd seen this before.
I wasn't going anyway.
Lou, do you want to pull your?
Yeah.
And Doug didn't show me this when I joined, so.
One page summary.
Yeah.
Right.
Do we still do water quality?
Yes,
Still done.
Michelle is doing that, and this is done in a different matter than Gateway. We still go to the Hyacinth Control District. We have it done it's free. And but it does, cover a lot of things because again, the boardwalk through our conservation areas, these are all things that, it's easy to gloss over and think it's somebody else.
I get a copy of that.
Yeah. Once it's approved.
Before the meeting?
But it looks good. Do I need approval and all that?
Yes, this Paul, yes, we need approval so that it proceeds to PPAC for adoption.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the current version of the pond subcommittee roles and responsibilities document as posted in the meeting agenda. Do I have a second?
Rich Hennessy, I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passed. That's everything open for discussion. Next item is staff updates.
Good morning, it's Paul again. So just have a few updates and actually I do have some additional. But the first one is 10559 Carina Circle. This was the resident that had taken the initiative to remove their own littorals.
Oh.
We had notified them that that's a violation. It's unauthorized littoral removal. So we're just if the subcommittee is wanting to charge back the cost for the replanting of those littorals, you just have to let me know so then we could bill the resident for that cost. The second item was there was a dead pine tree along the boardwalk that concerned us, and it was a safety issue that has been removed in the month of July. So that's completed. The third item is the pond and conservation area signage. That's something that Jim had brought to our attention regarding the placement and the proper, I believe, numbering of some of the signs that we have out there. Matt completed that project. I don't believe there's any other signage or needs for.
Not that I'm aware of.
I did have a question, Paul. It came up a couple months ago by one of my neighbors. They said that when there was an alligator intrusion up in North Florida and somebody got attacked, it came up that they should have signage along the ponds that, please watch the alligator.
Yeah.
I mean, something kind of ridiculous, but does Gateway have that, or are you familiar with any type of signage that might be helpful?
Yes, we do have some signage that, notify residents that there's alligators in the lakes.
Yeah. I mean,
Put that on every pound.
No.
Well,
Not on every pond.
I know we have them on the bridges, at the crest of the bridge, usually where people are standing there looking at the gators.
Typically in like common areas, like not along the resident,
Yeah,
actual people can walk alongside.
Near the fishing areas, would that be?
Mhm.
That probably
yeah.
would be appropriate, yes.
I know we've had them at one point, but somehow they disappear.
Can we request
Fishermen.
them?
Took them.
Oh, can we request?
Yes, there would be no problem We just gotta be, like I said, we won't put them on all of them, but I think common areas, especially like along, Cypress or even Pelican
Preserve
Boulevard.
Pond 21,
Yes.
where a lot of people walk by.
Those areas that anybody would be getting near the lake bank and, you know, those fishing areas.
Yeah, sign that says small dogs are bait.
Could we just put a sign at when we enter?
Yeah.
I am totally
Oh,
with
yeah.
you because
Yeah,
that's,
exactly.
we get calls, especially from new residents saying, you know, have the alligator removed and like you do live in Florida, so there's bound to be alligators in the ponds.
As the realtor said, if it's bigger than a puddle.
So just forward me, you know, what ponds you like to see those alligator warning signs, so.
One of the guys I played golf with has a friend in Colonial, and he was going out to his car and got a call from somebody, opened his garage door, went back in the house, and he came back out, he walked around his car, and there was a 6 to 8 foot alligator under the front of his car, which he took a picture of, which we got to see. So yes, you need to be aware. They don't just go in ponds.
Right.
I had a 6-footer on that little 3-foot. As you go out your lanai, just crawled up there while I was cooking chicken on the barbecue. True story, absolutely.
You know, and unfortunately, they switch ponds, they'll walk up a driveway and get stuck in somebody's front doorway. And, you know, if you leave them alone long enough, they will eventually move, but unfortunately, a lot of times they are removed for that. So, okay, so if we identify some locations that we feel are appropriate, we will consolidate that information and send you an email. Using your recommendation, you know, we don't want sign,
Every location, right.
you know, it starts, you know, looking a little trashy, but, you know, with using your placement standards, you
Right.
know, we appreciate that.
Were appropriate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Next item is a pine tree that had fallen down right behind 10/532 Bella Vista by Conservation 9. That was just recently removed. So that's out of the lake maintenance easements. The next item is Pond 21. Now that we have direction as far as next year's budget, that design should be completed this month. So we
Okay.
should be able to be on track to try to get that out to bid and awarded. Hopefully by the end of the year.
You could share that with me when that's
Yes,
done.
yes, absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely. And then just, this is more of a FYI, Matt and I and Tetra Tech, we're working on our NPDES permit. We're a co-permittee with Lee County. So every year we have to submit a report to DEP to, as far as our stormwater program, you know, water quality, you know, all of the things that we do as what you do for subcommittee, and also all the work that Matt does as well. So that's an annual basis, and which is due to the county by early October. So that's our goal, to try to get that submitted.
How is the water quality in Gateway in general? I know we hear from our group, but do you have any problem areas? Or I know sometimes surrounding golf courses, they're always going to be prone to
Yeah,
You know,
there are some.
excessive.
Some, areas, but, I mean, it comes to no surprise why they are problematic areas.
Okay, because again, then the flowway flows through us on its
Correct.
journey out, so,
Correct, yeah.
but, okay.
Just a couple more items I needed to add. 10/469's Severino Lane. That was another resident that accidentally removed littorals. They're unaware that you cannot remove littorals. So I did kind of talk to Jim maybe about putting something out to the community as a reminder not to remove the littorals on your own without authorization.
And that's
Yeah,
pending
we've already-
Patricia to work on that.
And the last thing, we did address the golf course. There were, as they were mowing the fairways, they were putting all the grass clippings in the waterway. So we asked them to refrain from doing that. And best management practice is to, you know, mow towards the fairway, not onto the water. So they were advised of that. And we've had to remind on Gateway side the golf course as well. So
Did they listen?
They do. Well, it's been already a second.
Until a new guy cuts the grass.
Exactly. So.
Schools is very good about teaching these people.
So yes,
Yes.
it's, yeah, and they're very responsive and, they always correct it, so, but it's just something, it's an ongoing item for us. And those are my, step updates, Jim.
Okay. Let's see. Member items and reports. Jay, anything on aeration or fountains?
No, we've got them, working finally, lights are working as well, and it's just that $125 bill. I'm waiting to hear back.
Yeah.
To see, I mean, it was close enough. I wasn't here at the time, so it was close enough to the time they did all the repairs that you would think it would just be a rebalancing issue that we're gonna have to pay.
Right.
But I'm gonna wait to hear from her. I don't want to cause any problems, so, I mean, it's $125 if we have to,
Yeah.
see what she says.
Okay. Mike, anything on the basins, storm drains,
Well,
interconnect?
I asked you this question. I don't think I got an answer about the fish.
Oh, the fish weirs, the cleaning of the fish weirs.
Right.
Of the
Or
fish.
Great.
Great.
Fish
Fish great.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, like the one on 38, I know it's clean because I go out there frequently, but I don't know how easy it is to access the others. Do we really need extreme divers to do this? Is this something that they've done all along? You guys look at the fish crates?
I don't think they have
We
fish
do
weirs.
not.
Well, the only reason we needed them is because we had this, the fish club. Well, no, only because of the sterile carp.
Yes.
Oh,
It's not for the other fish. If you put the sterile carp, you had to have that so they don't get out off the property.
It's part of the permitting progress with the WC.
Now, they're probably all dead by now.
How long ago were they put in?
Are you talking about the grass carp?
Yes.
How long ago were they put in?
A long time ago, but they did, they did a significant amount of damage to the
Right.
fish habitat.
Yeah,
And I would not recommend putting them back in anywhere.
they're typically 10 to 12 years.
So they're right at the end of there. So we still have to have them. I know some of them are out up by the concrete culverts up behind, not the Winn-Dixie, the other side, where it goes underneath. It's out in the middle of this wetlands and that's,
no, let me
that's-
go. All right.
so,
That's what I wondered. Where are they and are they accessible? Let them, if we need divers to go out there, great.
yeah. So I do have a bid from them. It is budgeted, so we'll be having that done. We are in the process of, determining how to get the rest of our pond interconnects and the street drains inspected and cleaned where needed. Harold's not here. Doug, anything on the downspout? Anything new on coming up on downspouts?
Jim, this is Bob again, with respect to the item before that, with the catch basins and things.
Yes.
Ed Hedges is working with Extreme, that they're going to be reporting, they being the cleaners. That what is the volume in a catch basin? Is it a 6-inch, 12-inch, is it 3 foot, whatever? And that data is gonna go into GIS.
Yeah,
So that's a
Oh,
change.
he's
to what
gone.
we've done in the past.
yeah, I know I talked to him and we're trying to see what they can provide us with when they're doing this. Yeah.
I want to mention to the group so they know.
No, and that is really so we know when they come out and do it, down below the pipes is the catch basin. So they'll come and say that there's 50% fill. Well, 50%, how much? Is it 3 inches or is it 2 feet? So we're trying to get a better handle on the data. Let's see, Michelle, anything up with the water testing? Everything? Water's getting high.
Did you go use that scooper?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay. And Patty, walking the pond, so everything is going well? I know we've redone some of the ponds, trying to get them close together and close where I can, close to where people live. It gives them more of a invested thing. They're, until the neighbors start complaining to them about it. Well, and that's the nice thing when you have it, when it's local, people know you and, they'll ask you and
Rich Hennessy, Patty, have you had any, I don't want to say pushback, but have you had homeowners come out and say, why are you on my? Because I had made the suggestion that for all the volunteers that walk the ponds, it'd be nice to have a little reflective vest that just says ponds on the back, so they know why you're there. Yeah, well, yeah, just a reflective vest is, I'm walking the pond to make sure everything's okay. Thank you very much. Oh, thanks.
I will look into doing that. Because I know sometimes people are leaving golf carts parked on sides of streets or that, but
Well, it's
mostly
just-
walking around.
Yeah,
people
you're
are
behind
wondering-
somebody's property and they're like, why are you on my property?
Yeah. But I know from
But we
my,
know who those people are, so we just go around.
so, okay, the next meeting is October 12th at 8:30. Nobody else has anything?
Rich Hennessy again, I want to thank you for the informational only emails that you've been sending out. My only question is, does that go to the general population here, or is it just?
No, I just sent it to the people and the volunteers in the ponds group.
Okay. My only other suggestion, I know I had brought this up in the past. It may be nice, maybe once every 6 months or even quarterly, just a short blurb out to the community to explain who we are, what we do, why it's important. And of course, half of the community they'll see who it's coming from and they'll just hit the delete button. But I think it's important that they know, especially given the amount of funds that we work with and the responsibilities that we have. I think it's important that the general community knows what we do and how it affects them and how it keeps Pelican Preserve, a premier community in Southwest Florida.
And we do have, PPAC does have, all communications from all the subcommittees under PPAC get routed to Patricia. So it has a common, Right.
Together to make sure it's.
accurate.
Right. I'm just saying sometimes, I know I do it. I'm guilty of doing that. I see something from somebody, it's like, I don't want to read that. And I discard it. So I don't know how we get people to actually read it, but it'd be nice if they knew what we do, because it's important what we do. And they don't realize how important it is or what our responsibilities are.
Better than it's ever been, but it can still be.
Yeah,
Well, there's
but you
always,
can't make people read either,
no, you can't make them read.
but I do provide it out and, so I limit it
emails are great.
just to our individual group, but it does go to PPAC.
Right.
So when they feel that, if they're sending out something, they may add another paragraph that touching base on the different subcommittees on what's going on.
Right.
So, they do it, and it's nice that it's a common format, so it's not,
Yeah.
Jim's jokes.
Right.
We can ask Patricia to look at. Memo that she's drafting now.
But I wouldn't let the residents know that they can request littoral.
No.
I would leave that out. No.
Okay, make a motion to adjourn. Second? All in favor? Aye.
I.
No.